Can you fathom a world where the strides of human history, as we have understood it, has come to a standstill? This is the captivating question brought to light in Francis Fukuyama's influential work, End of History and the Last Man. Fukuyama commences the book with the audacious affirmation that history, understood as the ideological evolution of human societies, has reached its terminus with the worldwide supremacy of liberal democracy and free market capitalism. To delve deeper into Fukuyama's assertion, his argument is rooted in the belief that liberal democracy, coupled with free market capitalism, represents the pinnacle of societal evolution. These twin paradigms have emerged triumphant out of the ideological battles fought throughout human history. The rise and subsequent global dominance of these two ideologies signal the cessation of mankind's ideological evolution, thereby reaching the end of history. This end of history, a concept Fukuyama borrows from the philosophies of Hegel, is not about the cessation of events, wars, or technological progress. Rather, it refers to the end of mankind's socio-cultural evolution. In Hegel's philosophy, history is viewed a dialectical process, with each phase of human society having its antithesis, eventually leading to a synthesis which becomes the thesis for the next stage of the process. However, with the advent of liberal democracy and free market capitalism, Fukuyama argues the synthesis has reached its zenith, thus marking the end of history. This endpoint, Fukuyama suggests, represents the most advanced form of human governance. The first chapter delves deeply into the historical roots of the concept, with a particular emphasis on the French Revolution and the subsequent Napoleonic era. The book meticulously examines how the French Revolution, of radical political and societal change in France, was a groundbreaking proclamation of principles of equality and democracy. It further explores the Napoleonic aftermath, analyzing how Napoleon Bonaparte's rule furthered these principles, despite the political turmoil it often entailed. These two significant historical events not only marked the first major assertion of equality and democracy, but also laid down a robust foundation for the ideological conflicts that would shape the forthcoming 2 centuries. The book provides a comprehensive view of how these monumental events set the stage for future ideological battles and the evolution of political thought. Chapter 2 dives deeper into the highly significant Cold War era. This was a time when the world was essentially divided into 2 ideological camps: the liberal democracies, led predominantly by the United States and its allies, and the communist bloc, headed by the Soviet Union. It was a period of intense rivalry, marked not only by geopolitical maneuvers but also by a profound ideological struggle between these 2 distinct systems of governance. Fukuyama delves into this pivotal epoch, analyzing the dynamics that ultimately led to the triumph of liberal democracy. The fall of the Berlin Wall, a potent symbol of the ideological and physical divide between East and West, marked a critical turning point in this saga. It not only allowed the reunification of Germany, but it also precipitated a chain of events that would eventually lead to the collapse of the Soviet Union, then under the leadership of Mikhail Gorbachev. Fukuyama argues that these monumental events were not just key historical milestones, but they signified the decisive triumph of liberal democracy over its chief ideological rival, communism. The collapse of the Soviet Union, a superpower that had once posed a formidable challenge to the Western democratic model, marked the end of an era, and according to Fukuyama, the end of history's ideological disputes. The third chapter, The Last Man, is where Fukuyama introduces Nietzsche's concept of the last man. This is an individual devoid of any higher spiritual goals, satisfied with mere physical comfort and ease. Fukuyama raises an alarm that the end of history might lead to a world brimming with such last men, devoid of the struggle and competition that once fueled progress. In the 4th chapter, Fukuyama delves into a detailed discussion about the potential challenges to his thesis. The first challenge he explores is religious fundamentalism, shedding light on how deeply rooted beliefs can potentially undermine the universal acceptance of liberal democracy. He contemplates the ways in which such extreme views can destabilize societies and hinder their progress towards his envisioned endpoint. The second challenge is nationalism. Fukuyama unpacks the idea that strong national identities can foster division and conflict, thus disrupting the unity necessary for the establishment of a liberal democratic world. He discusses the dangers of hypernationalism and how it can act as a barrier to the global adoption of liberal democracy. Finally, Fukuyama discusses the potential for liberal democracies to self-destruct or decay from within. He expands on the idea that liberal democratic societies, while offering freedoms and rights, can also become breeding grounds for complacency, corruption, and inequality if not properly managed and regulated. While Fukuyama acknowledges these threats, he maintains his stance that none of them offer a viable alternative to his ideal of liberal democracy. He argues that these are hurdles to overcome, not insurmountable obstacles, on the path towards the end of history. In the final chapter, Fukuyama expands upon the implications of his theory for international relations. He predicts a world of relative peace, a tranquil future shaped by the triumph of liberal democracy as the pinnacle of ideological evolution. This would see nations more engaged in diplomatic dialogues than armed conflicts, with wars becoming largely a thing of the past. However, this serene vision doesn't come without its potential threats. One of the prominent challenges to this newfound peace is posed by rogue states. These are countries that refuse to comply with the international norm and accept the end of history. They pose significant disruptions, as their actions and ideologies often run counter to the principles of liberal democracy, and thus they could incite discord and instability in this envisioned peaceful world order. Similarly, non-state actors present another potential danger to Fukuyama's end of history. These are groups or organizations that operate outside the bounds of state control and, much like rogue states, refuse to accept the finality of liberal democracy's triumph. These entities might include terrorist organizations, transnational crime syndicates, or powerful corporations that operate beyond national borders and jurisdictions. Their actions, driven by varying motives, could undermine the stability of international relations and challenge the supremacy of liberal democracy. In conclusion, Fukuyama's End of History and the Last Man presents a thought-provoking theory about the culmination of human ideological evolution in liberal democracy. It delves into the historical journey that led us to this point, outlines the implications of this end stage, and sheds light on the possible challenges that could disrupt this status quo. Ultimately, Fukuyama leaves the reader to ponder whether the end of history is truly a desirable state, or whether it might lead to a world of last men, basking in their comfort but devoid of any higher aspirations. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Fukuyama's End of History and the Last Man. We hope you found this discussion insightful and thought-provoking. If you're intrigued by engaging content like this and wish to dive deeper into complex theories and ideas, make sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Your support helps us create more content that unravels the complexities of our world. Don't forget to hit the bell icon. We truly appreciate your support and look forward to bringing you more enlightening content in our future videos. Until then, keep questioning, keep learning, and see you in the next one.